Hello, in this one, a weapon craft. It works for any weapon in the game. The main thing in here is that we need a base with 161 level or higher. And depending on which authority we choose, it might require one or more Serpent's Essences. My choice for this one is a lesser authority for the physical damage amplification. First, we start with the prefix craft. On that one, always look for main damage type flat. In my case, it's a physical damage flat. I like to roll this with the lesser essence as one of the affixes are always guaranteed. Second and third prefixes should be weapon attack damage flat, and any of the damage multipliers against status effects. It can be debuff, dot, crowd control, and so on. For rolling the correct prefixes, use either rare birth essences, which is cheaper, or unique essences. I'm not looking for speed multiplier as a prefix, as speed can be solved through other means. The speed roll itself is no longer necessary on the weapon. After crafting prefix, next step is to craft any suffix with a 8 or less tier. That one is going to be used with the Serpent's Essence. For this craft, I managed to get my prefix by using Disintegration Essence, which is a cheaper version of the prefix removal essence. However, it has a little bit more RNG, but I was lucky with that one. Next goal is to craft a suffix that is tier 8 or lower. For that one, we can only use our unique essences for the suffix birth, as any other essence is gonna break our weapon. On this one, I managed to roll a gear stat requirement that is tier 8. And when using a Serpent's Essence on that specific roll, you can see that I get a chance to roll my suffix into prefix. And that prefix is a physical damage amplification, which is a authority mod. And it's at 100%. However, it's not always 100 depending on which authority you choose. For example, Acuben authority is going to be like 66%. So there is still a little bit of RNG. But this is the main idea on how to craft a good weapon with the Serpent's Essences. After we get our prefix done, so this is how it looks like: physical damage, attack damage, crowd control enemies, and physical damage amplification. Depending on the authority you choose, it can be poison damage, lightning damage, and so on and so on. Right now, the only thing to do is to roll a suffix. However, a lot of people before rolling the suffix, they like to use Vesper essences on only 4 affixes, but I kinda like my RNG, so I always go for 6 and then I do my Vespers. Right now, depending on what kind of build you are doing, in my case, I'm doing a critical build, so I'm looking for attack damage and gear critical rate multiplier. After that, in my case, it's a Vesper time. On the Vespers, I know that this weapon I'm gonna use for quite some time, so I'm looking for at least tier 14 attack damage multiplier, and as much physical damage amplification as I can. But it's up to you how you're gonna do your Vespers, how much you can invest, and how much are you willing to lose. Because Vespers are still RNG, and sometimes it takes only 1, sometimes it can take 50. After you are satisfied with your Vesper, and before making the weapon legendary, remember that you want to reroll your values on your affixes. These essences are really cheap. I use them all the time, and I use a lot of them to get as maximum values as possible, as you're gonna drop them either way, and it's not a big deal. For a legendary prefix, I always try to look for attack damage multiplier or attack damage flat, and I use reversions to get those, as that investment is gonna pay off, especially if you crafted a really good weapon. At this time, I didn't get anything good, so I kept what I could, as I didn't have any reversion essences at that time. For next thing to do is just to roll the quality. On a good weapon, I always aim for 10, and then when I use unique modification essence, I'm looking for at least plus 18 or 17 roll, like in this one. After this one, basically your weapon craft is done. As item is legendary, you can imbue any authority on the item, as it's not gonna change any affixes. What I'm looking for is get item quality for a little bit more damage on the weapon. For alchemy benchcraft, you're looking for more attack damage multiplier, or you can roll a little bit of physical damage or whatever your main damage type is on attack damage flat mod. Which one you choose is up to you, which one you scale from more. If you need a little bit more flat damage, you can go on that attack damage roll and roll, in my example, would be physical damage flat. But otherwise, this is where I stop. The high craft is a lot of RNG, and any high craft that gives you damage is a good high craft. At the same time, Ancient Essence mod on the weapon is a lot of work. I didn't do it yet, but all of that as Legendary and Ancient just depends on your RNG. There is no specific technique to do those, so I'm not gonna talk about that. But this is the weapon craft, and for this one, I'm done. See you in the next one.